Hey, this is Shannon McCord here with All-Star Investment Properties, and thought I'd just take a minute today and sit down with Chris here and talk to Chris about his experiences in starting a portfolio from a few properties and now growing it into a business where he's been able to not only supplement his income, but actually is looking to grow his portfolio to a point to where he can check out the real full-time rat race one day and get more into just owning properties. And so Chris came to us a year and a half ago, and like I said, had started buying a few properties, but felt like he needed some more help and wanted to make sure he's getting the most out of his money that he was investing. And so I wanted to talk with Chris today about that and let him tell you his experiences of working with us and how he's been able to grow his portfolio in such a short amount of time. So how's it going, Chris?
Going good, Shannon. Going good. Thanks.
Appreciate you doing this for me here. And
happy to do it.
You know, a lot of people out there are, they're in a similar situation as you were just a few years ago. And we sell properties here at All-Star to anyone from the new guy, the new beginner, to somebody like yourself who had started the business but wanted to grow, all the way up to we've got clients we work with that run multi-million-dollar hedge funds and private equity groups and everywhere in between. So there's always a place in the market to get started, with real estate. And I'm glad you came along to us when you did, because you'd just gotten a taste of what it was like. But real glad to have you working with us. We enjoyed the partnership that we've had together. So if you wouldn't mind telling folks out there kind of your experiences and what you've been through and what you've experienced, and kind of the good, the bad, the ups and downs, and all the rest in between.
Sure, I'd be happy to. As Shannon said, I work a full-time job, so this is not my primary source of income now. Hopefully in the future it may be, but right now I'm working a full-time job on the side, so I don't have a whole lot of time necessarily to dedicate to running my property business. I kind of got into it in just, I had a townhome at one point that I was living in, and decided I was going to move out of it, and had the opportunity to sell or maybe rent, and the market was soft for real estate at that time for selling. And had an opportunity to rent it out that just kind of covered the mortgage on it and kind of paid for itself, but wasn't a true income property. And that was my first toe dip into the rental market at that point.
A lot of people start out accidentally like that,
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of where I got started with the rental property, and then the light kind of clicked on for me that I thought, well, if this will pay for itself, then maybe I should get a couple of more units like that, and started shopping around for rental properties or just vacant properties that were move-in ready, and paid retail and probably paid too much for it, for another unit that I purchased, and really, in hindsight, probably paid too much for it. But I was a complete novice when I started out, and like a lot of people are, just clueless about where to go to find properties. And this is about the time that I ran into Shannon, and full disclosure, I know Shannon from a little ways back, and I trust Shannon, and we got to talking, and he helped me with a remodel on one of my other units that I paid retail for, and right at that moment he came into my life, or back into my life at that point, and we he kind of guided me into the hey, you're probably paying too much right now for rental property. And he showed me how I could get into higher cap rate properties, which cap rate was a new term to me at that point. I had no idea what he was talking about when he said cap rate. I went and looked it up later. I didn't want to admit to that when we talked, but that just shows you how inexperienced I was. Now, I would say I'm still inexperienced, but with Shannon's guidance, I've been able to build my portfolio into a much more profitable property business. I've since opened up LLCs with Shannon's guidance, and started putting these properties into LLCs to protect myself, and really started a real business. This is not something that is just a sideline really anymore, even though I still have a full-time job, but I don't have to dedicate my whole life to it, which is great. Passive income is a great thing. Shannon has guided me into purchasing, I think, 6 units now, and I'm looking to purchase more. So, hopefully Shannon can tee me up on a couple more leads and continue to build this process. Ultimately, I think I would like to retire and have this be an income for retirement from my full-time job. And like everybody else, I'd like to retire earlier than 65 or 70. So, hopefully that'll be the case, and we'll just kind of see where this goes from here.
Yeah, and so in the past, I guess, few years, we've been doing this together now, maybe a year and a half or so.
Maybe a year and a half or so, yeah.
You had started out with a few properties that you had bought and kind of done a little bit of rehab with them. But can you talk a little bit about some of the properties that we brought to you that already had tenants in them, and then maybe some properties that you didn't have tenants, we brought some tenants to you, and kind of your experience with that, and did you like that, not like it, or how did that go for you?
How could you not like it? It's essentially turnkey. I had the first property that I did with All-Star Properties with Shannon was a property that already had a tenant in place, and it was not in an area of town that I was necessarily used to investing in, but with the tenant in place, the property was already cash flowing positive, and so I took the leap, and glad I did it. The next property was the same thing.
And I remember that one too, just in full disclosure, you're a little bit hesitant on that first one about it being in a different part of town that you weren't used to.
That's right.
But I guess just from the trust that we had built before the rapport that we had, you went ahead and took that leap.
I took the leap. I did a very minimal amount of research on that property and realized worst case scenario, if the tenant didn't work out, I can turn and flip the property immediately without having to do any renovations and get my money back plus. So, it was a risk-free investment really on my part because I knew that real estate is always worth something. And the value on that one was such that I just knew that even if it didn't work out as a rental property, I could immediately sell it, put it back on the market for more than I invested in it.
Right,
so it worked out great. Yeah.
And now, a year and a half later, that being your first one you did with us, how is that property for you today?
Fantastic. No worries with it. It's been, I've had a couple of repairs and natural things that occur. I don't know what you call those, but
just regular maintenance type
maintenance
issues.
Things that have come up. A couple of little things here or there, but that's what's to be expected being a landlord. Having property. The second property I bought from Shannon was the exact same way, except it was in a different area of town. And after I had the good experience with the first one, it was a no-brainer just to pop on that one too and say, yeah, let's do it. And the whole process with the staff at All-Star has been just painless. We essentially did a verbal deal on the phone, and then we went through, signed a couple of papers, faxed things back and forth, and boom, it was done. Mm-hmm. And I started realizing income the next month.
Right.
So, it doesn't get much easier than that.
Really. And now we're here today. I guess it's been, like I said, a year and a half ago. And fast forward, now you've got a portfolio, I think, of close to a dozen properties total.
And half of those were ones that I purchased from you.
Yeah, we were just talking here recently about now your next step is you're wanting to go more multi-family situations, which seems progression of a lot of people in the business start out with the first property and then you move along, and then after a year or two you want to move up into the multifamily, which I think is great and the progression most people take, and so that's good. So behind us here we kind of did a little bit of quick math a few minutes ago, and it turns out that Chris has gained a capitalization rate, deducting expenses out of his income, of 19% of the properties that we've supplied to you over the past year and a half. And just want to let people out there know that this is for real. You can get properties that pay you over 10%.
Yep.
And it's a real thing. They're out there. and the experience for you has been positive. And
Absolutely.
the cash flow keeps coming in, and
Right.
all in all, it's been a good deal for you.
Right, right. The important part of that is finding somebody to partner with that you trust, that can bring these properties to you and say, this is a good deal. I'm not blowing smoke. This is going to make you money. This is how you're going to do it. And really, essentially, I needed to be guided by the hand. So I can admit that. And I still do need guidance. And I come to Shannon for a lot of things. Just about anything that I need regarding my rental property business, I can reach out to Shannon or his staff, Lindsay, and others at All-Star Property. And, they make it completely simple. If they don't have the answer immediately, they get it to me within a day. So, having you as a partner for my business, personally enriching my life, having a second stream of income, I'm so grateful. I mean, it's a complete blessing.
Well, it's good to do business with people like yourself because you're easy to work with and all that. And thanks for all the kind words. And how much did I pay you to do this?
0.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we cleared that up. But thank you so much for the kind words. And
Absolutely.
it's been great working with you. So if you would like to. If you like to be, in the real estate business, and we have multiple ways for people to do that. If you're looking to get in the business, or even if you're a private equity guy out there and you're running a multi-million-dollar fund, I know that you still need those good cap rate properties. Give us a call, like Chris did, and let's see if we can help you out. I go through and look at probably 100 properties every week to find the 1 or 2 nuggets in town that make sense for people. So thanks again. Appreciate you coming and doing this for us. And
yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
Call All-Star.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Good
All right.
talking to you.